I think we're live. I hope so. I think we are live. Looking at one of the most interesting XRP pumps of the season. Now, I have not completely figured out what's going on. But all I knew is I had to start streaming here and talk about what is going on right now, because I've been looking at this price with my oh my god, $2.59 per XRP. What? Guys, okay, so what I'm gonna show you, I wanna do it later when some more people have hopped on in. Everybody, by the way, this is the strange angle of the camera where my eyes look like completely screwed. I've set the camera up in a strange way where, you know what, I'm gonna change it up a little bit. Should be more forward, maybe a little bit. Man! So, remember this. This was $100,000 of a loss a few weeks ago. Remember that. This was $100,000 in the minus. Right now we're up 3. That is amazing. And this, I put how much? I put $155,000 into this account. Maybe 2 weeks ago or so. Let me quickly see if I have it open. Here we go. So I put 15,000, then 120,000, and I put $20,000 again yesterday. So let's just put in 20. I have to update this and make it perfect. So in total, that's about 155,000 that I put into my Payonex account. How much are we at right now? I am at a value, because I put maybe like $1,000, maybe $2,000, maybe $3,000 extra, like side note. But let's just skip like $5,000 off of this. Basically, we have made, what in the world is going on right now? Man, the challenge, we have to, again, let's see. All right, so we have to quickly check. I've been compounding the living crap out of this because it's been going so fast. This is the $1 million challenge that I've been doing. So right now, we have compounded, well, basically a little bit of an odd amount of times. Let me quickly see by copying this to a side monitor and seeing what value we closely resemble. Because I try to do it every 5%, but it became a bit awkward when all of a sudden the price started going so crazy. So right now, we are at, let me quickly refresh. We are at, how much of an investment are we at? We're at $13,029. I should have done it at $13,400, but I can add $600 now. I want to do it every 5%, but again, because my value was up like 15% almost, I was like, let me cash it in real quick. But as of this point now, it's up 4.5, basically 5%. My friend said do it every 5%, so I might as well do it right now. So anybody who's wondering how to do this, basically, it's a bit too low, right? I don't want to actually do this, but I think it's nice to maybe do it for the stream here real quick. You just, for example, add a 1 at the end and press next step. And I'll ask you, hey, do you want to reinvest? In this case, $500 or so. You press adopt. In this case here, I'll ask you, hey, your liquidation price is changing. You press modify. It cancels the orders. It goes right back in, and bam, here we go. So right now, we've basically gotten ourselves almost perfectly to the 7th order. So we basically said we have to multiply our money 95 times by adding 5% every single time. And we are right now at place number 7. So that's a lot for just like what? 21 hours is all we're in for. That is pretty damn massive. And I wonder how many of you guys have been together with me here. Anyway, XRP is the biggest coin in my portfolio. I'm up billions. Okay, I don't have billions of XRP, let's be real. But I'm up a lot of motherfucking money, man. Holy shit. Holy motherfucker. Holy baloney, man. $2.59. What? Hey, how many of you guys are holding XRP? How many of y'all watching the stream are holding XRP? Let's see some hands. Let's see a show of hands. All right. So here, real quick, how many of you guys are holding XRP that are in the chat box right now? Let's see. Who is here? And everybody who's been following along with my bots. Oh my God. Everybody's texting me right now. You know why? Because I've been talking about XRP so much over the past few months and actually even years. Whenever XRP goes crazy, all of a sudden everybody wants my attention because they know how much nobody knows the exact amount. I've got a lot of freaking XRP, man. If you know what my portfolio is doing right now, the greenness that is emanating from this, I think it's time. Oh, give me a sec. You know, can somebody figure out a way, if there's a way to take this stream to my phone, then walk to the back of my suite here, because I'm in a nice suite in Africa, and I have a pool in there. I would jump in, clothes on. I don't give a crap. Nah, I could just take my clothes off now that I'm thinking about it. But is there a way to take this stream further on my phone? Is there a way to do that? I don't think so, huh? But if there is, I will take my phone, put it down, jump in the pool right now out of excitement. Because I'm hyped up, man. I'm excited. But nobody's going to see it. Because the hallway is like, if I show you right now, you'll notice the hallway is very freaking, I can maybe show you perhaps. Okay, I will maybe not be able to put the camera back in its original spot, but I can at least try. But I'll show you a bit of what this looks like, just for fun. Let me see. If I take this now, how well will this work? Okay, I might just set myself up for failure here, boys. But let's see. All right, so you get some idea. So that's the hallway. It's very freaking long, and the pool is behind there, basically. Again, I know you might be. Oh wait, let me go full screen. Let's go full screen mode on this. So there's the hallway. It's quite long, but there's a pool at the end of the tunnel. As you can see, here's like a walk-in closet right here. There's a bed at the end. Here's like a toilet of sorts. And just, we have normal living room stuff and other things, but, you know, it's not so interesting. How do I put this down so I can jump in? Wait a minute. Would this work? Should I put it down like this right here and then jump in the freaking pool at the back? In the back of the back. Let me put a little stand on this. Wait, I know you must be thinking, man, this guy's freaking epilepsy or something. Why is he shaking so much? Have you tried holding a freaking kilogram camera while also trying to put I'm trying to put this like little thing underneath it. I know. You know what? I don't think this is happening. All right, now, is it possible for me to go that way and jump in the pool without the camera falling over on this chair? Let's think about this. I have very unfortunate news. No es posible. No es posible. So we're going to put you right back to your cage. There we go. All right. Well, I tried. And I failed horribly. There we go. Let me put you back up. Now, yeah, some people, of course, will say that this is not an amazing pump, but I think we have to agree to disagree on that, all right? Mike says 5% is not a pump, that's average upwards push, nothing special whatsoever. I think XRP has been one of the most boring-ass cryptos for a long time. For us to finally see some movement, especially outperforming most of the coins, this is just, to me, it's very, very nice. And the fact that it's up like 12% or so in a day, let's quickly see over the past week or so, how much is it up? This is the daily chart here, right? So from the bottom, XRP is up, how much? 61% is up from the bottom. To me, that is a very, very big deal. But maybe, just maybe, your bags are not filled enough. For XRP to go up when Bitcoin is going slightly down. Bravo! Bravo! Woo! I'm hyped up, but maybe, again, maybe just maybe, people have different opinions on it. For example, the fact that this was down $100,000 and right now it's back in the positive. You know what's really funny? If I had bought the $1 million 2 days ago, like we were joking about in the previous stream, we'd right now be having a blast. But unfortunately, we did not. Then again, the counter is we did start our $1 million challenge just yesterday, and we were already multiplied about 7 times. So again, keep in mind, this is very important to keep in mind. This is looking beautiful right now, but if the price starts going against us on the short term, it might not be fun to watch, and we will have to add more margin depending on how low the price goes. At this point, we can go down pretty significantly from $2.57 to $1.94. But you understand that we do not want to get liquidated, so we will have to add more money. But again, over time, if it takes many, many months, you will have made enough profits where you'll never have to add anything. But if it's on a really short, it depends a bit. But if it's on a really short amount of time, yeah, we might have to take in more. In this case, why am I saying that? Well, because theoretically speaking, we could just take money out of the actual investment, for example, use it as margin, 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗕. Or we could have started with 10K in total, add a lot of margin at the start, 𝗕𝗓𝗓𝗕. This is just the fastest way I can think of it. And ultimately, it's my challenge that I'm doing and my rules. So, but we're going really, really proper right now. This is awesome to watch. Any single person who followed any of my bots over the past few weeks, 3 weeks or so, have been in tons of profit right now, and that's amazing to hear. You know, because some of these bots did really, really bad. Even the XRP one that was minus 1,000 or so just earlier, but it's recovered quite nicely. Let me quickly see. There should also be should be an overview somewhere. There we go. So, yeah, this is the overview right now. This is the bot overview. I think we've made, let's quickly calculate. So 2, 3.5, 4.5, 5, 5.5, let's say. Yeah, let's say 36.5, 37.7, 38.6, let's say 39.5, 39.6, 39.8, 39, I guess 41, 40, oh, this is not 1,000, this is 100. Anyway, so we have, let's say we made about 40 grand or something like that in just the last few weeks. Mostly actually the last few days, because the one, actually, wait a minute, isn't the one 30K? Okay, so we have 30K, 12K, so this is about 42K. I'm not sure what type of thing I was counting just now. So let's say it's about 50K or so in profit that we are on these bots in just a week or 2, maybe 3. Pretty freaking amazing, you know? Honestly, pretty freaking amazing results. And I'm really, really happy I did the challenge here with XRP instead of Bitcoin because, well, XRP's been going nuts here. Whereas Bitcoin, since I opened the previous bot, hasn't done that much. I was scared for a bit with this virtual bot because the moment I opened it, it went down significantly. But every single time here now that it's going like this massive price upwards and then down, this is where you make most amount of profit on your bot. This price action is exactly what you want to see to make billions over a little bit of a longer term. Let me turn it around a little bit. There you go. Woo! And if XRP closes above $2.50, I'll give away $250. Also, I noticed there's still 12 people that I need to give the giveaway to. But every time I'm like, I'll do it in a second, I'll do it in a second. At the end, your money is like safe. I, in theory, have infinite, in my opinion, infinite money to do some crazy giveaways here. Because I've set myself up for giving away at least, I think it's going to be at least $100,000 this, okay, let me say it like this. It will be at least 20K over the next few months. I think it's going to be more around 100,000, but I hope it can get close to $1 million. Then we can give away this bull run, but it depends on how crazy things go. All right, for example, maybe this $1 million challenge absolutely pops off and I decide to do 2 or 3 of them. Maybe we can give away just $100,000 off of that. You know, if we do 2 challenges, for example. Then again, this challenge is supposed to take like a year or 2. So then I'm thinking, you know, when did the millions start adding up? It's quite hard to give away $1 million because how do you do it? I thought I should always do like $20, $25 because I remember when I started crypto, it was because of a small giveaway. And so if I'm thinking $20, $25, you can do a lot of them and help a lot of people get like a kickstart. It's better than $100 here, $100 there because you can start with $20, do some crazy stuff. Whereas 100, well, you can give 5 people $20 for $100. So, you know what I mean? Anyway, that's my thinking process. I'm just looking at these coins just completely mesmerized for the crazy price action we're seeing right now. But mostly, it's because of everything with the US/China situation, guys. Really, it's been awesome. Mostly the fact that they're just talking about some sort of deal. And by the way, if you want to join the bots, there's always links down below in the description, if I'm not mistaken. Even of this stream, there should probably be some links in that description for you to check out if you want to copy the bots. In case you were to want to. You know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. Let's go. Got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. Let's go. All right. I'm just looking at some real quick. Let's do it here. Don't you know, pump it up, let's go. You got to pump it up, but don't you know, but pump it up, but let's go. To pump it up, pump it up. I'm trying to find. Here we go. All right, I can add it. Should be okay, like this. I've just quickly linked the XRP bot and the Bitcoin bot in the comment section thing, so you can also see it there. Anyway. So, did anybody find out if I can take this stream to my phone? That way, I can jump in my pool. Let's see if any of you guys know. Man, the text is also too small. Oh, I'm not showing you my screen. What's going on? The text is also too small where I can't see anything, so I gotta open it up on my phone. Let's see. Let's see what you guys say. Oh, we have 500 people in here. That's amazing. Hey, Thomas coming in with the $10. Thomas is one of. So first of all, people never really like donate. It's also kind of weird, I think, for being like a news channel E. So it's, you know. But Thomas, I think he's given us, I don't know, thousands. It feels like for always the $10, sometimes the $50. I remember he sponsored a giveaway a while back. But still, there's a few more giveaways I got to do, guys. But just remember, if I've told you you win a giveaway and it's not there yet, just keep in your head, I'm a bit of a slow guy sometimes because there's a lot of things to do. But I will never forget, all right? I never forget. Somebody says, you can go live on your phone. The problem is, can I go live on this stream or I have to do another stream? That's the problem. Because I can look at my stream right now, but if I go plus and I press live, I think it will just open up 2 live streams at once. Yeah, because now it says like it's going to be a different live stream. Let's see. Nah, I cannot. I press scheduled live streams. I cannot. There's no way to continue this live stream on my phone. That's sad. Anyway, big shout out to Thomas for the $10. He says, where are the haters? I hope they enjoy their Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin people. At the end, one thing I'll say is Bitcoin has also done really, really well. But XRP has just been slightly better right now today. Amazing. Anyway, Mike says, bags are never full enough. Almost salary plus holiday money, time to invest. Amazing. But always, you know, keep it a bit, keep it safe. Mike says 8%, oh, that was what we already said. 8% is not a pump. That's an average upwards push. Nothing special whatsoever. I'm excited about it. Dusty, good afternoon. It's a great day. I'm having a great day. Bobby says, H-bar is dead. You should sell soon to forget about them forever. You know, I think H-bar is in a pretty good spot. H-bar usually does really, really well on the bull. So I don't know if it's a wise idea to get completely rid of it, but hey, that's just me. Mike says, I've missed the giveaway. No, so I just announced one. And by the way, I remember, like, so for example, let me quickly scroll here. There's people who want a juicy giveaway, if y'all remember that. I've still not gone through it. I still have it open here, but it's been like some time. There's people who I gifted, let's see. I have 3 people who won, I think, 2 or 3 days ago. I still have them in my phone, the 9th of May. So 2 days ago, or 3 days ago now, they won. I still have them in my phone. Then we have 10 more people here, so 13 people still need to get money. And then today, we'll probably give away $250, maybe 240, maybe 260. Let's do 260 then. And just give, or let's do $25 a person. So I give, 10 people $25 today as well. All these people have won 20, but those people from today will win $25 a piece. We'll do 10 of them. Why? Because XRP is pumping. I want to get people excited. And for a lot of people, $25 is nothing. But remember, maybe you've also known some tougher times. Or, just think about it from the perspective that it's always nice to get like a free milkshake. I don't know. Here, man, I've noticed now, some place in the world, they are scamming you for all the freaking smallest things. A hamburger, $60. An octopus salad, $45. Like, who decides these things? Big Dog says, what's up, Dusty? What's up, Big Dog? Hey, guys, where's everybody watching from today? Right? I'm right now in Africa. Maybe you know the country. Maybe I've already said. I was like, let me post it later. I have a couple of cool videos that I've been taking here, but I'll get to all that later. I've actually been in multiple countries of Africa throughout the last few weeks, but I didn't really talk about it, I think. I was in South Africa for a few weeks. In the meantime, I think, what have you guys not seen? Maybe Malaysia you've not seen. I think that it was maybe 3 weeks ago. Bali, I think Bali you've seen, though. Maybe I showed some cool stuff there. Where else have I gone? So South Africa, Bali, Malaysia, Singapore. This is all the last. Hong Kong you've also seen for sure. Where else did I go the last few weeks? I don't know. But a lot of people ask, why do you... Dubai, of course, a few times. But that's my house, so that's different. A lot of people ask, why do you travel so much? Man, I love it. I think once you have the freedom, and there's this beautiful quote, but I won't even say it now because I'm going to embarrass myself by butchering it. If you've got the freedom to choose whatever, whenever, why not do whatever the frick you want any single day? Right now, just now, I didn't have any hotel booked for tomorrow. I'm like, I'll see you later. Now I just booked it like maybe half an hour ago. I went for like a bicycle session in the freaking Africa. So really cool. Like, man, do whatever you want to do. That's the beauty of it all, no? Isn't that the most beautiful part of getting your riches, getting your crypto up, whatever? You can do whatever the frick you want, whenever you want it. To not think about all these, what other people say type of things. Lift March says, just full ported 500x long on XRP because of the title. Brother, you're screwed. No, you did not do that. If you would do that, a 500x long, brother, may your portfolio rest in pieces, brother. Oh my days. GTA 6 says, bro, I never get your notifications, or very rarely, bro. Why? Because you can only get 3 notifications of a channel a day. And I've already posted 3 things in the past 24 hours, just 1 today for me. But so the stream might be like the 3rd or 4th or 5th, whatever. Depending, of course, on where you subscribe. So anyway, if you've not done it yet, put your notifications on, because in case something crazy happens, you might want to be notified. You don't get, you can always choose to negate, like ignore the notification, but you can never turn back time. I'm seeing a lot of people now starting to comment that that XRP is going crazy. A lot of people are DMing me also, like, check out XRP, check out XRP. This guy baited me hard. He says 265 now. Liar. It's 256. But still, man. $2.57 in XRP is still absolutely massive. Huge. You know what it's time to do? It's time to play some. Oh. Why? There's no sound. Let's do it again. Time to play some Clash of Clans right now. I'm joking. Oh, man, though. Oh, this is naughty, huh? Naughty. Too much crazy, boss. Oh, man. Looking at these crypto coins. Oh. Dusty, please tell how to gain financial freedom crypto like you. To be honest, it will take time for most people, especially if you're coming from $0. There's this little fun thing. Do you know that like 8.5 years ago, I think, I had a series that was called 0 to a Million. And it was really interesting to me that now I look back. Now I'm doing 10,000 to a million, 10,000 to a million a few times probably. I might do 2 of them. And I realize how the perception of money has changed over time. This is one thing, but also that first of all, also, I'm getting lazier. This is also another interesting thing. As time progresses, back then, any $3, I would be so happy. I'd be so grinding, like, oh, now, this bot I have open, and I have a lot of bots open. In total, let's say I have $8 million worth of trades open at any one time. In this case, on just XRP alone, we've got, let's say, $600,000 just here writing. I'm like, it'll probably be fine. I'll take a look at it in the next few months. It's kind of crazy how this mindset has now come where there's probably a lot of ways to optimize these things even better. But if I had to give somebody a tip, it'd be just lock in. You know, don't leave your freaking screen for a few months. Like from now to maybe February or so is the most important time you have in this entire, 4-year span probably. There's two main opportunities. One is by buying hard right now in this area, the next few months, and selling hard as well, somewhere close to the top. And my own advice before, this is not financial advice, was sell 1% every single day of 2025. In this case here, you could have had yourself a really, really good exit because the start of the year was the best for almost anything. And then we could have potentially bought more as the price started going down, which I'm not sure if I would have done. But right now, the second part still stands, which is we most likely have not seen the craziest wave for Bitcoin and altcoins yet. But when you're going to see it, you'll think it will last forever. So do not be afraid to sell into it. And boys. Oh, there we go. $2.59. Woo! We're up $6,000. Okay, we're actually up $10,000 over the last 20 minutes on this trade. My other account is up how much? Let's quickly see. I don't know how much this is up. That's interesting. Hey. I told you all we were minus $100,000. We were $100,000 in the minus on this trade a few weeks ago. Right now, plus 6K, plus 4K because we went down. Oh no. Plus 4K because we went down a little bit. Hey! Woo! XRP doing good. Delicious. This is delicious. This is amazing, delicious, deliciousness. Whoever joined the bots is doing amazing right now. I'm loving every single part of this, man. I'm loving every single part of this, ladies and gentlemen. This is amazing, man. This is so good. Especially because I did the XRP challenge, and then XRP decides to go on a crazy rant. I should now say this is all calculated, because it was. Don't think that this was just, luck or anything. Oh, camera gone? Why is camera broken? I guess I got too excited. The camera decided to nib itself in the back. Oh, wait a minute. So the camera is still fine. It's just my recording software that's messed up. I always thought it was the camera. But I'm looking at my camera now and it's fine. I'm back again, baby. Whoa! That's amazing, though. Hey! I might be becoming like autistic or something like that just watching this. Somebody says, check out who's Garlinghouse. He's the guy behind XRP. He's not the guy behind XRP, man. What are you talking about? He's just the CEO of Ripple. He's got a lot of XRP, but he's not the guy who made it. He's not, the chief or anything like that. He's the chief executive officer of Ripple, which kind of makes him in charge of a lot of XRP decisions. But then again, you also have Chris Larson, head of the board, and the co-founder or co-creator of XRP. I'm thinking he's a little bit more, on top if you had to name a person, but, maybe that's just me. So XRP is not a pump and dump? Brother, who cares? The bots will buy themselves in and sell themselves out. I don't give a crap. At the end of the day, you never know that for sure or not. Okay, boys, I'm going to quickly request something as well. If you've not done it yet, go ahead and press that like button, all right? You're going to get nothing out of it. This is literally only for me, all right? So you're doing something to favor. You know what they always say? They say, like, in a day, you should always do, like, 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever good deeds for other people. This is your time to lock in at least one of them, all right? Just one. But it's a really big good deed. Why? Because it's going to put a smile on my face. Right now, right? Level 99 sat. You pressing that like button, click, bam, puts me at level, 40 or something like that. So make sure right now, if you right now watching this, if you right now watching this, press that button, we are instantly at 200 likes. But most people don't want to press it. Why? Because you don't want to lock in your good deed of the day. Hey, stay evil, right, my brothers? But at least some of you guys will do something good today. Make sure you press that button. It's not going to gain you anything. You're just doing it for another person, which is crazy if you think about it, right? Why would you press that button? It's not going to gain you anything. It's just to be a good person today. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. Adrian now says, like or XRP will crash. also like your comment then, I guess. All right, I don't know what type of voodoo you're going to throw on the price just now, but you know what? I'm going to press the like button on that just to be sure. Whoa! You know, I wonder, if we put... Boys, we have crossed $2.60! Woo-hoo! Woo! $8,000 in the plus. There we go. I'm hoping that this song just like makes the price go up a bit more. I don't know though. It doesn't seem to be working. Maybe I've angered the XRP spirits. We should actually do it the opposite way, of like a type of song to get it more into like the line or something like that. I don't know. If you had to name a song that the XP price would move on, like what type of vibe are we thinking? H-bar is pumping too. Oh, you'd love to see it. But my H-bar bot was not really fully set is the problem. So to give you guys some insights on that, like, oh, there's the deposit bonus for Payonics. Let me find it real quick. So the H-bar bot, I only put like $1,000 into it. I think it's like only a $7,500 position. Let's see real quick. Here you go. Yeah, it's less. It's only like less than 5K. So this is useless. H-bar pumping is not doing me much. I have an H-bar position open, maybe somewhere else, maybe on Bybit or something like that. But somebody says, "Don't you know? Pump it up." You got, man. You know that song is my favorite song in the entire. 261. Oh, we're pumping, boys. Look at that, huh? You know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. Let's go. Got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. Woo! Got to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know? It's working. So, woo! It's working, boys. 262.31. I cannot see it. My screen is so freaking far away. Holy smokes. We're 263. There we go. Oh, there we freaking go. That is good. That is good. Ladies and gentlemen, let me see. Should it not be... We have to compound the bot again. All right. Shit, I'm too late again. No. I'll just keep upping it by 1 cent. Why not? Or half a cent. There we go. Let's reinvest $1,000. There we go. We right now have $14,500 in the bot. Oh, camera stuck. Looking a bit cross-eyed, like every time with this angle. But hey, c'est la vie, huh? Such is life. I'll just accept it. Hey! So basically we put $10,000 in. We're already up like 50% on that, so that's pretty good in one day. Ooh, juicy. Juicy. So anybody who's following along, I wonder how much the people are up that have been following my bots. Like, how are you guys doing? I noticed that I asked them for a layout. It is 80% of the people who followed my XRP bots, so the people that did join. So every single one of those people is up. There's only one person who's at a loss. I don't know how. I don't know what you would have done to be at a loss on the bots because they're up tremendously on this one. The main XRP bot is the one that most people joined. It is up how much? For me, it's up 67%. So I don't know how somebody is able to flip this into a loss. Like, you got to be actually brain. You got to have some issues, brother, to do that. Anyway, it's up $35,000 on our 50K that we put in. And how much? How many days ago? 5 days ago. So we put $50,000 in. We're up $35,000 in 5 days. That's pretty good. And the old XRP one is up 71%. So again, if you're at a loss on this, you've done something that I do not know how you do that. You know, you've got a special skill. You should probably put that to use somewhere else in the world for like really, really crazy things, you know, because you have a talent right now for messing things up, I guess. But damn, 263 on XRP, huh? And this again is flipped from minus 100,000 plus 10,000. Boys, we made it! Woo-hoo-hoo! It is up $15,000 as it looked like an hour ago. Oh, this is doing well. This is doing amazing. I'm loving every single part of this right now. I am loving every single part of this right now. Man, this is good. 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 You know, pump it up. You do pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. You. I sang the song and the price starts going down. Maybe we shouldn't, you know, maybe this is not doing it no more. I don't want to play with you anymore. You know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. Come on, you got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. So I guess anybody who opened a $370,000 position just now as well together with me, because again, you basically got my entry about an hour ago. I will start saying now, we just opened a $370,000 XRP trade, and over the last hour, see how the price has gone, or 15 minutes really, because basically you got my entry as well here. Look at that, it's perfect support. Bam! This is my entry for XRP. Perfect support, perfect. Perfect entry. Buying into support right now. We're up $11,000. In how long? In about time zone right now. Let's do which I don't know what time zones like that. Let's do +4. All right. So we are up. When was this? We opened this position half an hour ago, and we are up $12,000. It's a lie because I opened this like weeks ago, and it was down $100,000 before. But hey. It would be cool if it was, though. But some people will come in and think so if I just keep this open. But most of you guys will not. You will not be fooled by such foolery. But then again, who cares? I think the story is cooler from the fact that it was at minus 100,000, and I kept saying, just wait, this will be a positive again. Just wait, this will be $100,000 in the positive. And then a lot of people said, you should have told him. We're freaking dumbasses. It's all good, though. It's all good. 264, boys. Never fade a Dusty stream again. Whoever thought before who said, hey, XRP's not pumping out. Shut up. Go back to your cave, brother. Look at this. Hey. Wow. XRP is pumping, boy. Hey, XRP is pumping. Whoever did that 500 XRP, 65, boys. Oh. Woohoo! Man, okay, boys, we're going to have to reevaluate how I'm going to jump in this pool. For any of you who were not here before, I have invested thousands of dollars in staying in a house that actually has a pool. But the problem is, it is all the way at the end of this corridor. Uh-oh. Oh, can the camera? I don't trust. All right. It's somewhat stable. So right now, the situation is as follows. Man, this is not stable at all. I'm too afraid it's going to fall over. Let me put it like that. There we go. So I don't have the ability to jump in the pool right there at the end of the corridor. The corridor, by the way, this is the, you want to see the suite a little bit more? There's a little bit more house. My arm cannot reach further. It's the longest corridor I've ever had in any room ever. But, you know, there's a pool at the end of the tunnel. They always say there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I have the ability to go in. And I can also, I could just probably jump, but the question is, will you see it if I go in the pool right there? Because I cannot open the left door, I can only open the right door. Will you be able to see it? Let's test this. Let's test this hypothesis out. All right? Let's test this out. All right, now I got to figure out, can we see that or can we not see that? Let's see what the people are saying. If I were to jump in, could you see? Yes or no? I was able to open the door. Let me see in my own stream. It's not focusing, though, is the problem, huh? It's a bit blurry. Lost focus. Okay, how do I... How do I do that? Okay, you know what? Lock in, brother. Where there's a will, there's a way. That's what I always say. I've never said that before in my life, but let us focus. Get rid of autofocus. We put this focus right there. Touch focus. Maybe we do off. No, we do this one right here. Touch focus, and we focus on manual focus. Maybe. Do the focus on that area. All right, test number 2. All right? Test number 2, boys. Again, it's just not a test if you actually see it, because I'm not going to jump if you can't. So. All right. Again. Can we see that? Let's see. Autofocus fixed itself. Blurry again. All right. Man, how can this be so hard? You're right, though. How does one... Is this Pooh in the room with you now? I said before, if I could take my phone, this would be easy, but I don't know how to stream on my phone. Touch zoom to the doors. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have free will. I forgot about that part. Can't I just take my laptop too? Oh, wait. Okay, the autofocus is off for a second. Wait, I'm gonna try, take my whole laptop. Why couldn't I do that? You go watch charts for like 30 seconds. Oh, no. Okay, watch charts for 30 seconds. I will try lock in and get my camera to move over there. This can work. But let me turn the autofocus back on. There we go. Okay, all right, boys. Now I'm gonna start an endeavor which I have never tried. This will be experimental. But if it does work, this could be extremely funny. If it does not work, which is highly probable, this will be a wasted 15 minutes of my life. But I think I can do it. This is all to jump in the pool during our live stream, which I promised. And I have a pool for that. So let's do a vote. Should I switch my camera? Try to jump in pool even though it's work. Let me do a poll. If you guys say no, just continue on with the stream. We skip this whole part because it's a lot of work, maybe minimum 2 minutes. Let's see. Start the poll. All right, my lads. Let's see. We give it Come on. Maybe it goes down. I'm already preparing, so it takes less time. All right, get rid of this. There should, oh wait, I can do a different sound. There should be no microphone for at least a minute or some until I fix it. I could just put I'll put the microphone from the MacBook. All right, so it'll be shitty for a bit. I think this is the microphone from MacBook. Oh, let's grab it. All right, we're locking in, boys. We're locking in. I'm gonna do the most hardest thing I've done in like a few hours. Trying to do this the right way. Boys, I've locked in properly. I don't know if I've ever had these levels of locked in before in my life. There we go. I'm going to grab both my laptop. There we go. And 𝗕𝗃𝗪𝗏. And right now, woo, boys and girls, this is looking awesome. Now, I have literally got myself a remote setup where you can see the sky for a second, right? Look at the fan. Let me grab this little thing. All right. Now, we set ourselves up, boys, by putting this, by putting it in. There we go. All right. Oh, this is not working. There's been some stability. There's some stability issues present. All right. 50-50. 50-50. All right, but now I have a little iPad. All right. Not enough light. Now, this is a problem. I will now, from now on, be slightly wet, is the problem at hand. So, you might be asking yourself, how do you continue on this stream fully wet? And I have not thought about that part. But okay, the wetness is a bit more severe than I'd imagined. Woo. Let's see. All right, boys. Cold? No, it's heated. It's good. All right, now we got to take ourselves this this journey. I can see myself in the mirror. Back to the other side, but it was worth it. It was definitely worth every single second. All right, is the mic quality actually okay, or is it really bad here? Let's see. Let me go watch my own stream actually, just to see how this is. I can hear everything. That's good. But XRP is pumping, boys. Woo! That is nice. That is nice. Hey, look at my hair. It's like a sponge. Oh, there we freaking go, man. What is the XP price at right now, guys? It is right now at... The XRP price right now is at... 261. 262. Okay, we're not doing too bad. You can't see. I don't know how to make these things focus off. 262. This is also the opposite way. Anyway, this is good. I'm loving to see every single part of it. If the price starts pumping, jump again, can hear you fine. Does the resistance strong at 265? We'll have to take a look at that. Tiny pool, brother. Where's your pool? Maybe you actually have one, so maybe don't. Let's not do that one. All right. I will not go pool for pool with you. You might win. It is a tiny pool though, but it's in a hotel, so I think it's okay. It's it's quite pricey. You know what? It's okay. Where are you guys all watching from? Somebody says, Dusty, what the heck's going on? Fortune says, I never said a tiny pool is bad. Good point. Which country? I'll tell you after. If you know, you know, but I never said it. We went from a non-dusty to pool jump dusty. Man, somebody says move the camera to the right. Like this. Oh. Man, you don't want to know how wet it is over here, man. I mean, it's not bad though. Like for real. There's like a chair and stuff over there. You can't see it, but you might be asking yourself, why am I closing this? Well, because otherwise mosquitoes get in. Because this is a crazy mosquito place. But man, the price is doing good, huh? Loving every single part of it. Watch it from Germany. $3 for good luck. Man, if $3 goes, huh? This would be crazy. Dusty's gone mad. Man, it's okay. It's not that crazy. We've done this before in the Maldives. And right now, you know what? Let's try to get this bad boy back to where it was at before. I can. Oh, man, the camera is good though, huh? Like I should be making vlogs. The unfortunate part is, what the frick are you gonna vlog about? That I do not know. But I cannot see myself, by the way. I'm just guessing we're doing okay right now. I'm guessing it's not like fully in my nose. I'm just gonna guess that that's the case. Put y'all's down. There we go. Put you down here for a sec. I hope y'all can still see some, but I don't know. All right. All right, there we go. Give me 1 sec. Here we go. All right, I'm almost back, almost back. There we go. And now we gotta put this motherfucker. There we go. And the chair of doom. Hey, now we can. Hey, look at this. I found a nice little watch. This is so HD, man. What in the world? Sometimes I forget. Look at that. We have the whole setup. You can see everything in freaking HD. That's what it looks like right here. All right, my random ass travel setup with a freaking chair against the wall, like a, you know, like I'm forced to be like a slave scenario or something. How do you call it? Like a hostage scenario. There we go. You know, that's kind of how it looks like. But hey, you know, can't complain. Can't complain. So right now, what we're gonna try to do. Hey, look at me in the mirror. Look at that freaking bicep. There we go. Uh-oh, that's not good. You might be thinking, Dusty, why don't you actually put a different screen on? No, I want you to see the struggle that I was trying to avoid by not going to the other room. I want you to see the effort I'm putting in right now, all right? I want you to know that. That's why I'm doing that. There we go. Attaboy. All right. All right. So, did this work? I think the conclusion is, it was possible to jump in the pool. I think the conclusion is also that for viewer numbers, it was the worst decision I could have ever made. But it was worth it because the price did something so crazy that I thought it was kind of funny to do. Let me switch up the mic again. Here we go. Here we go back to, I need to plug it in. Plug it back in. There we go. There we go. There we go. And last but not least, there we also go. So now I have all my cables back and connected, except for the last one. There we go. So now, another comes a good question. Was it worth it? I don't know. Was that worth it? I don't think so. Was it funny though for the people that were here? That I think. Switch the microphone. Now, we're back in business, baby. So, you know, I don't think that was worth it at all, but it was funny. Somebody says, Dusty, you cooled the price down by jumping in the pool. This is probably possible. This, you know, sometimes, this is the problem, right, with these strategies. Right here. We tried to get more liquidity by entering the pool with such force that it would enter the market. But unfortunately, it happened a little bit the opposite way. The sauna's too far away, my boys. Volume? All right, we not good? Can you hear me? Test, test. We good, boys? Somebody says Trump is live. Wait, Trump is live? Hey, you're not joking? Can somebody quickly confirm if Trump is really live? Your volume is slightly low. I mean, I can up it as much as you want to, but the problem is I don't want it to be too cracky either. Let's up it a little bit. Somebody says soon. Somebody says yes on Fox, but you know, I don't believe the comment section that often, or the chat in that sense. Because people lie all the time. Trump is actually live. Okay, Theo I trust. He looks very, very trustworthy right now. Trump is going live. No, so you are you cannot put links in the YouTube chat. Man, I guess the XP pump has been, you know, liquidity has been siphoned. But regardless, it was amazing to watch, though. Let's be real. It was really awesome to watch the price go crazy. Our trade's going absolutely nuts right now. And I think this is another confirmation that it's just altcoin season here, baby. Like, we're in such a good spot. for the next few months at least, I think. So another little question some people might have. So this is normal, all right? If you are reinvesting, this total profit will be minus pretty quickly. But at that point, you got to focus on the grid profits and the fact that you just got to make sure you do not get liquidated, which is why I said, if your whole bankroll is like 10K, don't do this challenge for more than like $1,000. And even then, I'm not sure if you can finish the entire challenge, because you got to remember, the challenging part is actually getting yourself towards $1 million actual investment. And the reason that is quite difficult is because when you think about it, if you're doing this with leverage like I'm doing to make it faster, essentially you're trading with 5 times the money, right? If you really want to do this only with your initial investment, you gotta cash out the profits every single time, put only a part of that back in, because if you are eventually trading with $800,000 as an actual investment with 5 times leverage, that's $4 million. If the price drops 25%, you're down a significant sum of money. Why? Well, because again, you're basically trading with 4 million at that point to make it faster, but if it's down 25%, you're basically $1 million down. So you need to back that all up. Which in my case here is not going to be that big an issue. I can always salvage it, but that's also because I really want to take this to $1 million as soon as possible. So if you're seeing this and you're really worried about it, this might not be for you, because ultimately it should be at a loss most of the time, because that's where it buys significantly, and that's also what's able to get you the profits over the long run. And that is also why this is better than a long position in general, because it is able to buy as the prices go down. A bot that only buys when things or that only sells is not that useful. Right here, for example, on this dip in the price, it is buying right now, so you can sell as the price goes back up. That is the nice parts about it. You know, pump it up. You got to pump it up. Don't you know, pump it up. Hey, we're back in the green, boys. Nah, I don't think Trump is live right now. I think he'll get live later. White House. Let's see. WhiteHouse.gov. Let's see. President Trump holds a press conference with the Secretary of Health and Human Services. We'll begin shortly. All right. Can I stream the White House? Like, is that legal? You know, are they going to take my stream down? You'd expect them to want it to be shared as much as possible, right? I'd assume you can, but there might be copyrighted stuff inside of it. Like, I don't know how the White House works. Maybe the government's going to take me down and take my money. You know, I'm joking. You know, you have some of those programs that can only be shown on like government TV or something like that, but I think it's good. I think it's good. Kung Fu Tuber says it's public, isn't it? I don't know how that, like, you cannot copy like CNN and stuff so easily, no? Because you're taking away from their viewer numbers, if you get my drift. It's like republishing their stuff. Or BBC or whatever. But I'm guessing the White House, the only thing they want is people to see it. They don't care who's getting the views. By the way, 11 p.m. Eastern time. Wait, what? Our 4th roundtable crypto regulation today at 1 p.m. Eastern time. I was like, what? When is 1 p.m. Eastern time to my time? I'm in Dubai time zone, even though I'm not in Dubai, but let's see. 1 p.m. ET to Dubai time. 9 p.m. So I will stream this tonight also. So I'll try to stream at 9 p.m. tonight the SEC roundtable crypto regulation discussion with Paul Atkins. This might be cool. So if you guys want to stick around for another stream, most likely we will come back tonight at 9 p.m. Dubai time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. But what time is Trump streaming, boys? Man, all this China news, there's so much of it, man. Holy smokes. Probably in 5 to 10 minutes, huh? I'm guessing he's going to be streaming, 6 p.m. my time. It's such in the morning. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, for right now, though, the prices are cooling off a little bit. Every single stock and thing is up there, but even Bitcoin right now is falling down. I'm seeing Bitcoin at 103.7. Salvador says he's going to speak on terrorists, bro. You know he is. Well, actually, it's supposed to be President Trump holds a press conference with the Secretary of Health and Human Services. To be honest with you, I don't know exactly how that could be about terrorists when it's about the Secretary of Health and Human Services. I think it's more about deportations and stuff. But, I mean, Trump has been going live, what, every single day for a while now. So I'm not sure also if it's going to be a lot of beautiful info we can get out of this. Because every time there's like hours of talks, it could take like 2 key takeaways. So maybe it's not even worth us watching. Rolandus says it's about medicine, cut 30 to 80% from meds. You talk about the tariffs for medicine, yeah? Or tariffs or anything along those lines, or just... Not sure the exact time, but the Gov stream has been up for 11 minutes, says we'll be shortly. I'm guessing it's going to be in 10 minutes when it's an exact round number of the hour. Sneak says sounds weird still. Are you talking about the stream or about Trump's speech? Let's see. How many of you guys are still here? I mean, we've got still 780 people in the viewing officially, but how many people are still here in the chat box? Who's still here, boys? Roll call. Who's still here? I see a yes or something. Let's see. Okay, we got you are fast, brother. We got level. I cannot read none of these. Sam Rogers that I can read. Just being farm prices. There we go. Still rolling. I can just check out my phone. We got a lot of people in here still, man. Because I'm thinking we should probably do another stream at like 9 p.m. But also, I got to eat at some point. So I'm thinking of the best way to go ahead and do that right now. I'm not 100% sure. We're bouncing though, boys. Boys! Matter of fact, this bounce is looking pretty juicy. Trump's...
Let's stop it. Let's stop it. We're doing trade. If you don't stop it, we're not going to do any trade. People have never really used trade the way I used it. That I can tell you. And all of a sudden they said, I think we're going to stop. And they have. And they did it for a lot of reasons, but trade is a big one. We're going to do a lot of trade with Pakistan. We're going to do a lot of trade with India. We're negotiating with India right now. We're going to be soon negotiating with Pakistan. And we stopped the nuclear conflict. I think it could have been a bad nuclear war. Millions of people could have been killed, so I'm very proud of that. I also want to thank Vice President Vance and Secretary of State Rubio for their work and efforts. They worked very hard on that. We also, as you know, created a situation where the Houthis, for the first time ever, have ceased firing, and they've let it be known that they're not going to be firing at American ships anymore. Not going to be firing at Americans anymore. This was a heavy barrage that lasted for approximately 50 days. And as you know, they've been in war essentially for forever. But over the last 10 years, they've been very difficult for other countries. Nobody was able to do what we did. But they stopped, and we take their word for it. Their surrogates and them directly said, we don't want to do this anymore. And so we were satisfied with that. In addition, yesterday we achieved a total reset with China after productive talks in Geneva. Both sides now agreed to reduce the tariffs imposed after April 2nd to 10% for 90 days as negotiators continue on the larger structural issues. And I want to tell you that a couple of things. First of all, that doesn't include the tariffs that are already on, that are our tariffs, and it doesn't include tariffs on cars, steel, aluminum, things such as that, or tariffs that may be imposed on pharmaceuticals, because we want to bring the pharmaceutical businesses back to the United States, and they're already starting to come back now based on tariffs because they don't want to pay 25, 50, or 100% tariffs, so they're moving them back to the United States. I spoke to Tim Cook this morning, and he's going to, I think, even up his numbers, $500 billion. He's going to be building a lot of plants in the United States for Apple, and we look forward to that. I really do look forward to that. But the talks in Geneva were very friendly. The relationship is very good. We're not looking to hurt China. China was being hurt very badly. They were closing up factories. They were having a lot of unrest. And they were very happy to be able to do something with us. And the relationship is very, very good. I'll speak to President Xi maybe at the end of the week. We have some other things we're doing. But one of the biggest things that we're doing, and I don't know if people realize this, but we made a great deal with China, a great trade deal, but it was a much bigger deal originally, and then they canceled it right in the last day. Some of you faces I remember were there when that happened. I remember you. And we had a deal where they opened up their country to trade with the United States. And they took that away at the last moment, and then I canceled the whole thing. And then 6 months later, we ended up doing a smaller deal, but it was a big deal. It was $50 billion worth of product that they were going to purchase from our farmers, et cetera. And we agreed to that. People thought it was 15 because they were doing 15. We made it 50 because I misunderstood the 15. I thought I said, you got to get 50. Because when I asked, if you remember the story, when I asked, what are we doing with them? My Secretary of Agriculture at the time, Sonny Perdue, said, sir, it's about 15 billion and we're asking for 15. And I thought he said 50. So I said, so they came back with the deal at 15. And I said, no way, I want 50 because you said 50. They said, sir, we didn't say that anyway. Bottom line, I said, go back and ask for 50. And they gave us 50. And they were honoring the deal. And we would call them up a lot for the corn and for the wheat and for everything. They were honoring the deal. And then when Biden got in, they no longer honored the deal. There was nobody to call. I would call on an average of once every 2 weeks to say, come on, you have to speed it up a little bit. And our farmers were doing great. I said to them, buy more land and bigger tractors, if you remember. That's what happened. But the deal was a very good deal. But the best part of the deal was that we opened up China. China agreed to open itself up to American business to go in. And it would have been a great thing, I think, for China. They would be able to see things that they haven't seen. They would be able to buy products that they had never been able to buy. Would have been great for American business. I think it would have brought unity between China, better unity between China and the United States. And the bottom line is that they canceled it the last day. We were all set to sign it, and then I went a little bit angry. I got a little angry. I said, they canceled the deal. The deal was done. It was all ready to be signed, and people went over. They came back to me, sir, they don't want to sign the opening up China. Well, the biggest thing that we're discussing is the opening up China, and they've agreed to do that, but it's going to take a while to paper it. You know, that's not the easiest thing to paper. But that's the single, I think, to me, some people would disagree. Some people would say we're getting a lot of money with tariffs or whatever. But, you know, especially when you add what we already have. Because remember, we're already getting the 50% on steel and different things. That's not included in these numbers, so you can add that. But the biggest thing to me is the opening up. I think it would be fantastic for our businesses if we could go in and compete with China. It would be a lot of jobs for China. It would be, I think, at a time when they can frankly use the jobs. And that's what we're talking about. So that's a very, very important element to add. So when Scott, I watched him speak the other day, and I think he didn't want to say it, but I said, it's okay to say it. Look, if we don't get it, we don't get it. But if we don't get it, it won't be a positive thing. But if we do get it, I think it's maybe the most important thing to happen. Because if you think about it, we opened up our country to China. They have very few restrictions. And they didn't open their country to us. Never made sense to me. It's not fair. And they've agreed to open China, fully open China. And I think it's going to be fantastic for China. I think it's going to be fantastic for us. And I think it's going to be great for unification and peace. China will also suspend and remove all of its non-monetary barriers. They've agreed to do that. Well, they're very numerous. But again, to me, the biggest thing that came out of that meeting is they've agreed. Now, we have to get it papered, but they've agreed to open up China. It's going to be great for everybody. And third, I'm very happy to announce that 𝗬𝗂 Alexander, an American citizen who until recently most thought was no longer living, thought was dead, is going to be released in about 2 hours, actually. And he's going to be released before the eyes of Steve Witkoff, who has done a fantastic job. I know a lot of people that have a lot of talent. I know Steve had a lot of talent. But I know a lot of people with a lot of talent, but there's one that I thought had a special way about him, special personality. Aside from being a good deal maker, had a special way about him, and it was Steve. Knew very little about the subject matter, who does? But he learned it in about 2 hours. And he's been fantastic, so I want to just thank Steve. But they're going to be releasing 𝗬𝗂 in about 2 hours from now, or sometime today, let's say. And again, they thought he was dead just a short while ago. His parents are so happy. They're so happy. So it's, as you know, 𝗬𝗂's the only American citizen who's captured and held hostage by Hamas since October 7th, 2023. And he's coming home to his parents, which is really great news. I mean, to me, it's big news. They thought he was dead. So that's that. So we'll be heading there, and
it's
we'll
live,
be
yes.
Seeing 3 primary countries. You know all about that: Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar. On Thursday's meeting with Russia and Ukraine is very important. I was very insistent that that meeting take place. I think good things can come out of that meeting. Stop the bloodshed of the horrible. It's a bloodbath. But that 5,000 more, it's really much more, I'm trying to be conservative, more than 5,000 soldiers. Russian, they're not American soldiers, they're from Russia, they're from Ukraine, but they're people. They're human souls, and they're being killed at levels that we haven't seen since the Second World War. And it's every week, a lot of drone fighting. It's a whole new form of warfare, and it's violent and vicious. And so that's it. I'd like to go back to China just for a second. They're very heavy on the fentanyl. We're charging them, as you know, 20% for the fact that they send fentanyl into our country. And they've agreed that they're going to stop that. And, you know, they'll be rewarded by not having to pay, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. So the fentanyl should stop. It comes from China. It's amazing. And comes through our southern border, comes through our northern border too, comes through Canada, and comes through our southern border, much more through the southern border. But so that's a very important subject to me, because everybody in this room has lost friends or people that have family members that have died of fentanyl. So there's a big incentive for China to stop, and
Is it
I
really
take
that
them at
popular,
their word.
fentanyl?
They're going to work on that, I think, very hard. And one thing, when they work on something, they get it done. So now I'm about to depart on a historic visit. Some of you are going with us to, as I said, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and United Arab Emirates. Before I do, I'll sign one of the most consequential executive orders in our country's history. I don't think there's ever been anything signed like this, certainly not with respect to health care, nothing even close. I'm delighted to be joined on this occasion by Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr., who is doing a really good job, I have to tell you that. CMS Administrator, a friend of mine, Dr. 𝗕𝗵𝗲𝗍, who is an amazing guy. You know, I was telling Bobby before, Oz had a very successful show, but it hurt his reputation. Because when you're in show business, it hurts your reputation a little bit. It's good for you, but in terms of professionalism and being a doctor, it sort of hurts your reputation. This guy went to the best schools, was the best, I mean, top of the line. Then he did a television show, became a success, made a lot of money, all that stuff, but it sort of hurt him. And you know who I compare that to? I hate to say this, but a special woman, Jeanine Pirro. She was the toughest, smartest DA, maybe in our countries, in our cities and states, history, New York. She was really tough, really sharp. Then she did a show, and people didn't think of her quite the same way. She became more of an entertainment person, like Oz. Oz is not an entertainer. He's not really an entertainer, if you know the real story. And she isn't either. She is unbelievable. She was one of the strongest district attorneys in the history of New York, highly respected, very tough, went after the drug dealers at a level that you don't see today anymore. And hopefully she's given up a tremendous, she's leaving the #1 show on cable television, one of the #1 shows on television, period, The Five, but they've got great people left behind, but she was a big part of it. And so I equated to that. Jeanine Pirro is unbelievable. FDA Commissioner Dr. Marty Makary, with a reputation that's second to none, and the job he's doing already has been fantastic. Thank you, Marty. And Director of National Institute of Health, Jay Bhattacharya, who has been, as you know, from Stanford, so highly regarded, and have all been working with us very hard on this. And the question they would ask, being a little bit new to the government aspect of it, is why doesn't somebody fight the drug price situation, meaning equalization? There's a term, it's called equalization. Nobody wants to mention that term. And I'm not knocking the drug companies. I'm really more knocking the countries than the drug companies, because they're forced to do things. But the drug lobby is the strongest lobby in this country, they say, the drug lobby. It's between that and lawyers, and they have a lot of power. But starting today, the United States will no longer subsidize the health care of foreign countries, which is what we were doing. We're subsidizing others' health care. Countries where they paid a small fraction of what, for the same drug, that what we pay many, many times more for. And we'll no longer tolerate profiteering and price gouging from Big Pharma, but again, it was really the countries that forced Big Pharma to do things that, frankly, I'm not sure they really felt comfortable doing, but they've gotten away with it, these countries. European Union has been brutal. And the drug companies actually told me stories. It was just brutal how they forced them. And European Union suing all our companies, Apple, Google, Meta, they're suing all of our companies. They end up, they have judges that are European Union-centric, and they get rewarded $15 billion, $17 billion, $20 billion, and they use that to run their operation. Not going to happen any longer, that I can tell you. So what's been happening is we've been subsidizing other countries throughout the world, not just in Europe, throughout the world. European Union was the most difficult, from what I understand. I mean, I'll tell you a story. A friend of mine who's a businessman, very, very, very top guy. Most of you would have heard of him.
He has a lot of friends.
Highly neurotic, brilliant businessman, seriously overweight, and he takes the fat shot drug. And he called me up and he said, President, he calls me, he used to call me Donald, now he calls me President, so that's nice respect. But he's a rough guy, smart guy, very successful, very rich. I wouldn't even know how we would know this, but because he's got comments. President, could I ask you a question? What? I'm in London, and I just paid for this damn fat drug I take. I said, it's not working. He said, I just paid $88. And in New York, I pay $1,300. What the hell is going on? He said, so I checked. And it's the same box, made in the same plant, by the same company. It's the identical pill that I buy in New York. And here I'm paying $88 in London. In New York, I'm paying $1,300. Now, this is a great businessman, but he's not familiar with this crazy situation that we have. But he was stunned. But it was just one of those stories. And I brought it up with the drug companies, represented by somebody who's very, very smart, good person too. And we argued about it for about half hour. And then finally he just said, because they can't justify it, he just said, look, you got me. You got me. I can no longer they've been justifying this crap for years. They said, oh, it's research and development. Well, I said, well, research and development, other countries should pay research and development too. It's for their benefit. It was just one of those things. And the other countries would set a price, and they'd meet the price, and they'd say, if you don't meet the price, you can't sell it in our country. I said, well, then you walk away, and they'll call you back, and they'll sell it in the country. But now they'll have to do that. So for the first time in many years, we'll slash the cost of prescription drugs, and we will bring fairness to America. Drug prices will come down by much more, really, if you think 59. If you think of a drug that is sometimes 10 times more expensive, it's much more than the 59%. It depends on the way you want to analyze it, but in one way you could analyze it that way. But between 59 and 80, and I guess even 90%. So when I worked so hard in the first term, and if I got prices down, remember I was the only one to ever get prices down for a full year, but I'd get them down like 2%, and I thought it was like a big deal. Well, we're getting them down 60, 70, 80, 90%. But actually more than that, if you think about it in the way mathematically. And Pharma has to say, we're sorry, but we'll not be able to do this any longer to these countries that have been so tough. They've been very tough, nasty. It's trade. It's trade. And Pharma is also very powerful. And the Democrats have protected Pharma. The Democrats, this is the Democrats have protected Pharma. These are the Democrats. And by the way, I just called the Speaker of the House, and I just called the leader, our leader in the Senate, John Thune, Mike Johnson. Spoke to both of them. I said, when you score, you're going to have to score two things. You're going to have to, number one, score that hundreds of billions of dollars of tariff money is coming in. But even bigger than that, you're going to have to score that your cost for Medicaid and Medicare and just basically pharmaceuticals and drugs is going down at a level that nobody has ever seen before. It'll pay for the Golden Dome. I see the Golden Dome is there, see? That'll easily pay for the Golden Dome. And we'll have a lot of money left over. We need the Golden Dome, by the way, in this world. Although this world's a lot safer today than it was a week ago, and a lot safer than it was 6 months ago. We had people that had no clue what they were doing. So today, Americans spend 70% more for prescription drugs than we spent in the year 2000. Think of that. Our country has the highest drug prices anywhere in the world by sometimes a factor of 5, 6, 7, 8 times. It's not like they're slightly higher. They're 6, 7, 8 times. There are even cases of 10 times higher. So that you go 10 times more expensive for the same drug, that's big numbers. Even though the United States is home to only 4% of the world's population, pharmaceutical companies make more than 2/3 of their profits in America. So think of that. With 4% of the population, the pharmaceutical companies make most of their money, most of their profits from America. That's not a good thing. Now, I think, by the way, pharmaceutical, I have great respect for these companies and for the people that run them. I really do. And I think they did one of the greatest jobs in history for their company, convincing people for many years that this was a fair system. And nobody really understood why, but I figured it out. For years, pharmaceutical and drug companies have said that research and development costs were what they are, and for no reason whatsoever. They had to be borne by America alone. Not anymore, they don't. This means American patients were effectively subsidizing socialist healthcare systems in Germany, in all parts of the European Union. They were the toughest of all. They were nasty. And I see that. I see that with trade, too. European Union is, in many ways, nastier than China. Okay? And we've just started with them. Oh, they'll come down a lot. You watch. We have all the cards. They treated us very unfairly. They sell us 13 million cars. We sell them none. They sell us their agricultural products. We sell them virtually none. They don't take our products. That gives us all the cards, and very unfair. So they're going to have to pay more for health care, and we're going to have to pay less. That's all it is. And believe it or not, you know, because it's really the world we're talking about, not just the European Union, but because it's the world, the numbers are for the healthcare company not as bad as you would think. They'll make the same. I think the healthcare companies should make pretty much the same money. I really don't believe they should be affected very much, because it's just a redistribution of wealth. It's a redistribution where it could be the same top line, but it's going to be distributed differently. Europe's going to have to pay a little bit more. The rest of the world's going to have to pay a little bit more, and America's going to pay a lot less. Again, because it's a much smaller population than when you think of the whole world. So basically what we're doing is equalizing. There's a new word that I came up with, which I think is probably the best word. We're going to equalize, where we're all going to pay the same. We're going to pay what Europe's going to pay. We're going to all pay. Now, there may be some countries in dire need, and I would be willing to sacrifice that, but and help them. But it's called most favored nation. We are going to pay the lowest price there is in the world. We will get whoever is paying the lowest price. That's the price that we're going to get. So remember that. So we're no longer paying 10 times more than another country. Whoever is paying the lowest price, we will look at that price and we will say that's the price we're going to pay. Most favored nations. That's what it is. One breast cancer drug costs Americans over $16,000 per bottle, but the same drug from the same factory, manufactured by the same company, is 1/6 that price in Australia and 1/10 that price in Sweden. 1/10 for the identical product. A common asthma drug costs almost $500 here in America, but costs less than $40 in the United Kingdom. So $40 in the United Kingdom, which is where this gentleman told me he paid a small amount for his shot. But think of that. So $40 versus $500 here. That's not even bad. There are much worse examples. And the weight loss drug, Ozempic, costs 10 times more in the United States than in the rest of the developed world. 10 times more. Why? Why? What did we do? Suckers. But we never had a president that had the courage to do this. And nobody knew the system like I do. I mean, I've gotten to know this system so well. And I don't think it's fair that it benefits Obamacare. Obamacare is a failure. It's not a good health care. It works. I made it work. I had an obligation to make it work, or an obligation to let it die. I chose that we had to make it work. I had to make it as good as possible. And I had a choice. I could have let it fail or make it as good as possible. As good as possible means it was still not very good, but it survived. And we did the right thing. But this makes everything work. And I don't want to have a bad form of health care work because of the fact I was able to cut drug prices by 80 or 90%. So we're going to maybe come up with something. I think this gives the Republicans a chance to actually do a health care that's much better than Obamacare and for less money, which if you guys would work on that along with Congress. But I do want to say that Democrats could have done this a long time ago. They have fought like hell for the drug companies, and they knew they were doing the wrong thing. And it's going to be very hard. I was just telling the leader and the speaker that it's going to be very hard for the Democrats to vote against the one big, beautiful deal. The greatest tax cuts in history, greatest everything, but now you have the big drug prices because that's going to be included. It makes that whole situation different from a scoring standpoint. I just told them, I called them up about this. I said, I'm going to do something that's going to be very monumental, and you're going to be scoring. You better tell your people that this is going to score really well. And then add hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs to your list also. But as big as the tariffs are, this is something that really hits quickly. 5 years ago, I signed an executive order to confront this disaster, but only confront it in a minor way. It was a good confrontation, but never to this extent. And it took people a little while to understand a very complicated system. But Joe Biden, without any knowledge of what he was doing, terminated the policy and then pretended to negotiate under a new system. And then you take a look, 5 out of the 10 drugs that he negotiated are now over 200% more expensive in America than the rest of the world, and far more expensive than when he even got involved. Much more expensive than when he got involved. Joe Biden's plan was as you know, because you wrote about it, you don't say it very loudly, but it was a very big failure, was his whole presidency. First, I'm directing the U.S. trade representatives and Department of Commerce to begin investigations into foreign nations that extort drug companies by blocking their products unless they accept bottom line and very low dollar amounts for their product, unfairly shifting the cost burden onto American patients. And we'll be taking a look at that very strongly. The biggest thing we're going to do is we're going to tell those countries, like those represented by the European Union, that, that game is up, sorry. And if they want to get cute, then they don't have to sell cars into the United States anymore. It's a very big subject. And they won't get cute, because I'll defend the drug companies from that standpoint. They were given a price by the European Unions and other countries. This is what you do. This is what we're going to pay. We're not going to pay any more. Let America pay the difference, because there was a big shortfall. Let America pay it. And that's what we did, but we're not doing it anymore. Next, my administration will secure what we're calling most favored nations drug pricing. The principle is simple. Whatever the lowest price paid for a drug in other developed countries, that is the price that Americans will pay. And we're using the term other developed countries because there are some countries that need some additional help, and that's fine. I think that's very good. Some prescription drug and pharmaceutical prices will be reduced almost immediately by 50 to 80 to 90%. Big Pharma will either abide by this principle voluntarily or will use the power of the federal government to ensure that we are paying the same price as other countries. To accelerate these price restrictions and reductions, my administration will also cut out the middlemen. We're going to totally cut out the famous middlemen. Nobody knows who they are, middlemen. I've been hearing the term for 25 years, middlemen. I don't know who they are, but they're rich. That I can tell you. We're going to cut out the middlemen and facilitate the direct sale of drugs at the most favored nation price directly to the American citizen. So we're cutting out, Bobby, the middlemen. It's so important, right? You got to do that. They're worse than the drug companies. They don't even make a product, and they make a fortune. It's very smart business people, that I can tell you. If companies make no significant progress toward most favored nation pricing, which we will insist that they do, so I think I'm wasting time talking about it. We're going to insist upon it. And we'll insist, and we're going to help the drug companies with the other nations, because those other nations do a lot of trading with us. They need our trade, just like China needed us very badly. They need us just as badly. We will do whatever we have to with trade, just like we did some great things with trade with India and Pakistan. It really helped the situation, very heated situation. Could have lost millions of people, more than millions, I mean, many millions of people. and they want to do business with America, but we never used our powers that way. We never knew how. We never had people that knew how to do that. We'll also open up America's market to safe and legal imports of affordable drugs from other countries, putting dramatic downward pressure on prices. And if necessary, we'll investigate the drug companies, and we'll, in particular, investigate the countries that are doing this, and we will add it onto the price that we charge them for doing business in America. In other words, we'll add it onto tariffs if they don't do what is right, which is everybody should equalize. Everybody should pay the same price. And special interests may not like this very much, but the American people will. I am doing this for the American people. I'm doing this against the most powerful lobby in the world, probably the drug lobby, drug and pharmaceutical lobby. But it's one of the most important orders, I think, that's ever been signed, certainly with regard to health care or health in the history of our country, and it's an honor to be a part of it. And I'd like to ask Robert F. Kennedy to say a few words, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is an extraordinary day. This is an issue that, I grew up in the Democratic Party, and every major Democratic leader for 20 years has been making this promise to the American people. This was the fulcrum of Bernie Sanders' runs for presidency, that he was going to eliminate this discrepancy between Europe and the United States. But as it turns out, none of them were doing it. It's one of these promises that politicians make to their constituents, knowing that they'll never have to do it. And the reason they'll never have to do it is because they know that Congress is controlled in so many ways by the pharmaceutical industry. There's at least one pharmaceutical lobbyist for every congressman, every senator on Capitol Hill, and every member of the Supreme Court. By some estimates, 3. Pharmaceutical companies, the industry itself spends 3 times what the next largest lobbyist spends on lobbying. So this was an issue that people talked about, but nobody wanted to do anything because it was radioactive. They knew you couldn't get it by Congress. We now have a president who is a man of his word, who has the courage. President Trump was taking money from the pharmaceutical industry too. I think they gave you $100 million. Yeah. But he can't be bought, unlike most of the politicians in this country. And he is standing here for the American people. I don't know what, there's writers like Lord Elizabeth Warren or Robert Reich who are saying that President Trump is on this side of the oligarchs. There has never been a president more willing to stand up to the oligarchs than President Donald Trump. And I'm very, very proud of you, Mr. President, for your courage, I'll say, because I don't want to be crude, your intestinal fortitude, your stiff spine, and your willingness to stand up for the American people. We have 4.2% of the world's population. We represent 75% of the revenues for pharmaceutical companies. We spend in our country $1,126 per capita on drugs. In Britain, they spend about $240. They spend 1/5 of what we do. And this is true across Europe. And the drug companies, Europeans, if you ask them, it made no sense what they were saying. America has to pay for this innovation or it's not going to happen. What President Trump is saying to our European partners is you've got to raise the amount that you're paying for those drugs and pay for your share of the innovation. That the United States is no longer subsidizing that. If the Europeans raise the price of their drugs by just 20%, that is $10 trillion. That can be spent on innovation, and the health of all people all across the globe is going to increase because we're going to have better products. So I'm just so grateful to be here today. I never thought that this would happen in my lifetime. I have a couple of kids who are Democrats, are big Bernie Sanders fans, and when I told them that this was going to happen, they had tears in their eyes. because they thought this is never going to happen in our lifetime. And we finally have a president who's willing to stand up for the American people. Thank you. And Dr. Oz.
Thank you, Secretary Kennedy.
My ears, dog.
This is the most powerful executive order on pharmacy pricing and healthcare ever in the history of our nation. And it's only happening because we have a president with the fortitude, the guts to stand up to the withering criticism and lobbying that's going to occur as soon as folks hear about the executive order. So on behalf of the child in Philadelphia who's got an autoimmune disease with a $1,000 a month drug, or the older woman in Los Angeles who's on a blood thinner who can't afford her copay, I want to thank President Trump. God bless you for having the guts to take on this industry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
So let's talk about the details a little bit. And this is primarily about equalization, as President Trump said. It's about fairness. Think of NATO as a metaphor. When President Trump said, you've got to pay a little more so it makes sense for all of us, they came up. And the European countries contributed. The same thing we believe will happen in this situation. Most people who have thought about this process agree that it is patently unfair to tolerate the numbers that Secretary Kennedy and President Trump have reflected to you. On this chart to my left is a list of the 10 drugs that were negotiated in the IRA. Again, this is the bill, the law, that regulates a negotiation process. This is the best price that was able to be obtained by the Biden administration. And if you look at these numbers, they actually reflect how much on top of the most favored nation price was being paid by the United States. So the closest to me, Bob, you can point to the Jardians, the closest one, 289%, the one that's closest to you. That means that we are paying in America 4 times more than that drug costs in other countries. Again, 100% is the baseline. It's 289% above that baseline. It goes all the way down to when we're paying 50% more than any other country. That's the range. As was pointed out by President Trump, half the time we're paying 3 times more than is paid in other countries. It doesn't make any sense for the system. That stated, President Trump has over and over again indicated, and Secretary Kennedy reflected as well, we want innovation. We want our technology partners doing the best they can to make the best solutions for drugs to cure as many people in America and around the world as possible. By getting our allies to pay a bit more, as they should be, and they should have for many years been doing, will course correct a problem that's gotten out of hand. And by doing that in a thoughtful, effective way, we're going to be able to get the pharmaceutical industry whole. Those jobs will still be here, will still be productive, will still be curing cancer and a slew of other ailments that plague humanity. America will still be the leader in this space, but we'll be paying the appropriate amount, the right-sized amount for those tasks. So over the next 30 days, the 4 of us up here, together with people standing in the back of this room who are doing a lot of the heavy lifting, are going to be approaching pharmaceutical companies to talk specifically about what we want the most favored nation price to be based on the best data we have. We're looking forward to a thoughtful interaction with these corporate leaders, many of whom we've spoken to and in quiet will agree the system is not right the way it is. They're patriotic Americans. They want what's right. But the fact that in my lifetime, as Secretary Kennedy said, for the first time, we have a thoughtful and aggressive approach thanks to President Trump on taking on the special interests, should give all Americans confidence that this is an administration that stands for fairness, and it should chill the waters for those who believe they can push us away from our North Star, which is to take care of the American people. Mr. President, God bless you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Jay, you want to go next?
Sure. Good. So I teach economics at Stanford as well as health policy. And one thing that's really, really simple in economics is that when you have a persistent price difference for the same product between 2 countries, there is something deeply wrong. And what President Trump has done is a historic measure that should have been done a long time ago. What we're going to do is make sure that those prices become much closer to equal, like a competitive market you'd expect. Right now what's happening is the American people are subsidizing in large fraction the research and development efforts for drug companies around the world by the higher prices that we pay. With this new order, Europe will share the burden of that. And in fact, if you may think of it as like as somehow it's like it's going after drug companies, actually it's helping drug companies. Because what we're also going to do with this order, what President Trump has done with this order, is he's said to European governments, look, if you are taking advantage of the drug companies by forcing them to charge very, very low prices, we're going to defend American drug companies in Europe. At the same time, we're standing up for the American consumer who's been paying far too high prices for far too long. I can go back decades to point to congressional reports after government report after government report of tremendously high drug prices, much higher than the rest of the world, and nothing has been done about it until this moment. And I'm really, really proud, President Trump, that you've done this. I'm really proud to be included in this and looking forward to the work ahead.
Thank you, Jay. Great. All right.
Thank you, Mr. President. On behalf of the many doctors I've talked to about this very issue, thank you for taking the bull by the horns. Presidents on both sides of the aisle have talked about this and floated it and said they've wanted to do it, so you've had the courage to do it. Thank you. I've been a surgical oncologist at Johns Hopkins for 22 years, and I have seen patients suffer. We didn't take an oath to heal patients and then watch their life get ruined financially, with their home, mortgage, retirement, going down the drain with GoFundMe campaigns, raising money from church communities and synagogues and friends they haven't seen in 20 years to try to raise money for what? For a system where Americans have been getting ripped off by 10, 12, 15 times higher prices than we see in other countries. The fundamental problem in healthcare is that we've had non-competitive markets. We can do little things around the edges, or we can transform those markets to competitive markets, and that's what this executive order does today. Imagine buying a Ford for $175,000, a regular car, and then hearing that people in London are buying it for $10,000 every day, all day long. That is the craziness of this system. We're going to do everything we can at the FDA to support this executive order. It's transformative. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So thank you very much, everybody. It's, I think it's a very important day. In many ways, you have, we'll start with the Houthis. We go to Pakistan and India. We go to what we did with China, the trade deal, and with UK. And by the way, many other deals are coming in very much. At a certain point, we'll just set the price because we know where we are.
Bounce.
But we'll just set the price. But world trade is going to be terrific, and our country is going to be making a lot of money. Taxes are going to go down. Taxes are going to go down very, very substantially. But you look at all of the things that we've done, and now today I'm heading over. We'll see what we're going to do with respect to Iran. I think you have very good things happening there, too, by the way. I think can't have a nuclear weapon, but I think that they are talking intelligently. We're in the midst of talking to them, and they're right now acting very intelligent. We want Iran to be wealthy and wonderful and happy and great, but they can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. So I think they understand that I mean business, and I think they're being very reasonable thus far. And don't underestimate Thursday in Turkey. President Erdogan is going to be a great host, and we are doing some work with him having to do with Syria, too, by the way. We're going to have to make a decision on the sanctions, which we may very well relieve. We may take them off of Syria because we want to give them a fresh start. But President Erdogan's asked me about that. Many people have asked me about that because the way we have them sanctioned, it doesn't really give them much of a start. So we want to see if we can help them out. So we'll make that determination. But I think you're going to have maybe a good meeting. You have the potential for a good meeting, that a meeting wasn't going to take place. I insisted that that meeting take place. And it is taking place. And I think you may have a good result out of the Thursday meeting in Turkey between Russia and Ukraine. And I believe the two leaders were going to be there. I was thinking about flying over. I don't know where I'm going to be on Thursday. I've got so many meetings. But I was thinking about actually flying over there. There's a possibility of it, I guess, if I think things can happen. But we got to get it done. We got to save 5,000 lives a week. 5,000 lives is really more than that. It's worse than that. And when you see and you don't want to see it, but when you see the satellite photographs of the battlefield with arms and legs and heads all over the place, separated by 30 yards from bodies, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So we're working very hard to see if we can end that bloodbath. Okay, there shouldn't be too many questions. It's been covered pretty well.
Mr. President, thank you for taking questions. Two quick ones for you, starting on trade. If a longer-term deal is not reached with China at the end of these 90 days, can the American people expect those tariffs to go back up to 145%?
No, but they would go up substantially higher.
Okay, and then on
You know, at 145, you're really decoupling because nobody's going to buy. But they can go, they got very high because of additional tariffs I applied during the course because of fentanyl and other things. But no, but they'd go substantially higher. Yeah.
and then on Qatar, Mr. President,
I think you will have a deal, however.
okay, you're confident that there will be a deal. On Qatar, has Qatar asked for anything in exchange for that $400 million luxury jumbo jet? And how can the American people be so sure that they will not in the future?
Well, I think what happens with the plane is that, you know, we're very disappointed that it's taking Boeing so long to build a new Air Force One. You know, we have an Air Force One that's 40 years old. And if you take a look at that compared to the new plane of the equivalent, you know, stature at the time, it's not even the same ballgame. You look at some of the Arab countries and the planes they have parked alongside of the United States of America plane, it's like from a different planet. And it's close to 40 years old, might be more than 40 years old now. And we, when I first came in, I signed an order to get it built. I took it over from the Obama administration. They had originally agreed. I got the price down much lower. And then when the election didn't exactly work out the way that it should have, a lot of work was not done on the plane because a lot of people didn't know. They made change orders that were so stupid, so ridiculous. And it ended up being a total mess, a real mess. And when I came back, I said, by the way, what's going on with the Boeings that are coming in? Well, sir, they're way behind. And they are. They're way behind. They were way behind. Another mess that I inherited from Biden. And it's going to be a while before we get them. And I think Qatar, who has really, we've helped them a lot over the years in terms of security and safety. I think they, and very, very nicely, and I have a lot of respect for the leadership and for the leader, Qatar. And I think they they knew about it because they buy Boeings. They buy a lot of Boeings. And they knew about it. And they said, we would like to do something. And if we can get a 747 as a contribution to our Defense Department, to use during a couple of years while they're building the other ones. I think that was a very nice gesture. Now, I could be a stupid person and say, oh, no, we don't want a free plane. We give free things out. We'll take one, too. And it helps us out because, again, we're talking about we have 40-year-old aircraft. The money we spend, the maintenance we spend on those planes to keep them tippy-top is astronomical. You wouldn't even believe it. So I think it's a great gesture from Qatar. I appreciate it very much. I would never be one to turn down that kind of an offer. I mean, I could be a stupid person and say, no, we don't want a free, very expensive airplane. But I thought it was a great gesture. And I think it was a gesture because of the fact that we have helped and continue to, we will continue to, all of those countries, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, and others, we keep them safe. If it wasn't for us, they probably wouldn't exist right now. And I think this was just a gesture of good faith. And I don't get it. Someday it'll be like Ronald Reagan. They decommission them. You know, they get to a certain age, they decommission them. It'll go to my library. They're talking about going to my library in years out. But I thought it was a great gesture. And it's something that was done by Ronald Reagan. They actually decommissioned the plane, and he put it in his library. And it actually has made the library, I think, a Boeing 707. It's actually made the library more successful. So it was good.
Do you plan to use the plane after you leave office?
No, I don't. No, it would go directly to the library after I leave office. I wouldn't be using it. No.
Mr. President, on the hostage, you said that the release of the American hostage, Eden Alexander, is a step in good faith to end this war. Do you expect any progress, or perhaps announcement on ceasefire during your trip to the Middle East?
We hope that we're going to have other hostages released too, as you know. So when I met with the hostages 3 weeks ago that were there for quite a while, you remember the 10 people that came in, mostly young people. 1 or 2 were a little bit older. They were explaining the trials and tribulations. I mean, they went through hell. And I said, how many are there? They said, 59. I said, that's a lot. I didn't realize, because we got a lot out. You know, we got a lot of hostages out, I think you will acknowledge. They said 59, but then they said, they followed that up by saying 59, of which 24 are living, the rest are dead. But the people whose son, mostly son, I think one daughter in this case, but mostly sons are there, or husbands are there, those people want the dead bodies as much as they want the live body. I have a mother that calls me, but came up to me when I first met her, and she said, sir, please, please get my son out. He's dead, but they have his body. And I asked her about that, and it's as though he were alive. The level of wanting that body back is the same. It couldn't be any more, as though he were alive. So, you know, getting the bodies back is very important. That could be a thing having to do with the religion. It could be same. I was amazed at the level of importance. It's the same as if the son or husband or whatever was alive. So they said 59. In fact, they came in with a number 59 written out on like a sign on their chest. But they came to thank me for getting them out. And I said, what does the 59 mean? They said, well, that means there are 59 people. But then they said, but 24 are living. Now it's 21. The number's 21. So now it's actually, we'll get Eitan today. We think we're getting him today. So it's 20. So they have 20 live hostages there. The rest are dead bodies.
Mr. President, are you open to negotiating your tariffs on cars, steel, and aluminum with China or any other country?
Well, we're not even talking about that. We're bringing the car business back into this country. We have commitments, and not only commitments, they've already started construction on many plants. They've left Mexico in a few cases. In a few cases, they've left Canada. They're not going to build in Canada. They're going to build here because we have the market, and the tariffs have been amazing. The election and the tariffs. November 5th was a big day, and on top of that, of course, you wouldn't have the tariffs without the election, I guess, if you look at it. But we have at least 11 committed massive car factories that are going to be built, that are in the process of being built. And some are going through, some have actually started. We also have renovations of existing factories where they weren't utilizing the full factory from years gone by, and now they're under full renovation. They'll be opening up full factories in a very short period of time. Our car industry is, I think we're going to have the #1 industry. You know, if you look at Japan and these others, they do tremendously with cars, and they can do that too. But you know, if they want to sell cars in the United States, they're going to have to build factories in the United States, because I'm interested in cars for the United States. Now, one other thing is, in our tax bill, we're giving not only no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime, but also we're going to get a deduction for people that borrow money to buy a car if it's made in America. If it's not, we have no interest.
On the meeting between President Putin as well as President Zelensky, if President Putin doesn't show up to these talks in person in Turkey, will you join Europe in putting higher sanctions on
If I felt it would be important toward getting the deal done, I'm the one that insisted on the meeting. They couldn't get a meeting because one said ceasefire, one said no ceasefire. It was going back and forth. I said, look, at this point, we got to stop it. Just go to the meeting. The meeting's been set. Go to the meeting on Thursday. And if I thought it would be helpful, I don't know where I'm going to be at that particular point. I'll be someplace in the Middle East, but I would fly there if I thought it would be helpful. Yeah, please.
Refugees. I want to ask you about South African refugees. Dozens of Afrikaners who claim discrimination in their home country are heading to the United States,
right,
where your administration is going to welcome them as refugees. Now, this comes as you've halted virtually all refugee admissions for people fleeing famine and war from countries like Sudan, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Why are you creating an expedited path into the country for Afrikaners but not others?
Because they're being killed, and we don't want to see people be killed. Now, South Africa leadership is coming to see me, I understand, sometime next week. And, you know, we're supposed to have I guess a G20 meeting there or something, but we're having a G20 meeting. I don't know how we can go unless that situation's taken care of, but it's a genocide that's taking place that you people don't want to write about, but it's a terrible thing that's taking place, and farmers are being killed They happen to be white. But whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. That would be the only story they'd talk about. And I don't care who they are. I don't care about their race, their color. I don't care about their height, their weight. I don't care about anything. I just know that what's happening is terrible. I have people that live in South Africa. They say it's a terrible situation taking place. So we've essentially extended citizenship to those people to escape from that violence and come here. Yeah. Please.
Yeah, Mr. President, thank you. Are you letting China off the hook for these 90 days, and do you really believe that they will follow through with non-tariff barriers and remove those?
Non-monetary tariffs, yeah. Yeah, I think they're going to follow through. I think they want it very badly. I think they want the deal very badly. Again, this doesn't include the steel tariffs that I put on a long time ago that Biden tried to get off, but he couldn't get them off because it was too much money. You know, I took in hundreds of billions of dollars from China, what a lot of people don't know, but we put on the tariffs originally. And if I didn't do that, we wouldn't have a steel industry today. Now we have a thriving steel industry. It'll be thriving much more with what we're doing because this is the next level. But it doesn't include that, doesn't include cars, doesn't include pharmaceuticals when we do that. And the reason we're doing that will be to get them to come back into the country. You know, there are, again, I always say it because a lot of people forget, but if a company like Eli Lilly, which is making a massive investment in the United States right now. They're building many, many plants. They've already started like 7 of them, many plants, but they are not going to be tariffed. There's no tariff cost. So they're all doing that. They're all coming back to the United States. I mean, I'll tell you what, I hope I get the benefit of watching this because, as president, because, you know, it takes a little while to do this stuff. And we're doing it early in the administration. If you think of it, we have, I believe, if you look at the real total, it's over $10 trillion committed for plants and factories. Other administrations haven't had $1 trillion over a 4-year period, even over an 8-year period. We have over $10 trillion committed in one form or the other over 2 months. Give me a break. I'm here 3, but let's give me a break on the first month. We want to get acclimated. But, you know, but if you think about it, it's really 2 months. And so in 2 months, we have an investment already of over $10 trillion. And other presidents haven't had that done over a year, over 4 years in some cases. It's unprecedented. There's never been anything like it. It's a very exciting time in America. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Mr. President, are you ready to impose sanctions on Russia if Putin doesn't agree with the 30-day ceasefire?
I have a feeling they're going to agree. I do. I have a feeling.
And we think other countries,
let's see what happens.
no European countries are involved, Mr. President, in the negotiations.
The budget bill negotiations are taking place. Who in your administration is in charge of that while you're gone? Is it
Everybody, Bobby, from the standpoint of medical, this group behind me, I mean, I think it's the best group ever assembled. In terms of medical, I think you're going to see a tremendous cut. I don't think, I mean, I know you're going to see it in Medicaid and Medicare. That cut will be massive because drugs are 50–60% of the cost. So Medicaid costs are going down and Medicare costs are going down because of what we're doing today. And there's no, it's not like, oh, gee, well, maybe it won't happen. It's going to happen because the other countries have no choice. Now, the drug companies are going to have to say, listen, if you don't pay more, we're not going to give you the drug, and they're willing to do that. So that's it. They have to, we have to equalize.
How do you respond with respect to price controls?
Say it?
How do you respond to the fact that this...
It's not price control, no. What was price control is before. If you want to talk about price control is what they were doing. They were making us pay. They set a price, and they said, here's what we're going to pay. And anything else, charge America. Because at that time, they had a very stupid president, and it really went crazy during the last 4 years. And remember this, the Democrats are the ones that allowed this to happen. They were the ones that were the protector of this pricing system. And I think it's going to be very hard. You'll have to ask Democrats, are they going to vote against the one great, big, beautiful deal that's being negotiated now, tax cuts, etc. We're now on top of the tax cuts and regulation cuts, all the things. Now you're going to say that the price of your medicine is going down by 60, 70, 80%. You're going to vote against it? I think a lot of Democrats are going to be forced to do something that their leaders are going to beg them not to do, and that's vote for the bill. I don't see how they can vote against it. How can they vote against it when drug prices, drugs and pharmaceuticals are going to be down 70, 80%? It's going to be very interesting.
Mr. President, what do you say to people who view that luxury jet as a personal gift to you? Why not leave it behind?
You're ABC fake news, right?
Why
Because
not?
only ABC, well, a few of you would. Let me tell you, you should be embarrassed asking that question. They're giving us a free jet. I could say, no, 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 don't give us, I want to pay you $1 billion or 400 million or whatever it is. Or I could say, thank you very much. You know, there was an old golfer named Sam Snead. Did you ever hear of him? He won 82 tournaments. He was a great golfer. And he had a motto: when they give you a putt, you say, thank you very much. You pick up your ball and you walk to the next hole. A lot of people are stupid. They say, no, no, I insist on putting it. And then they putt it and they miss it. And their partner gets angry at them. You know what? Remember that, Sam Snead. When they give you a putt, you pick it up and you walk to the next hole and you say, thank you very much.
Respectfully,
Mr.
sir,
President,
as a businessman, some people may
Mr.
look at this
President.
and say, have you ever been given a gift worth millions of dollars and then not received
It's
anything?
not a gift to me, it's a gift to the Department of Defense. And you should know better, because you've been embarrassed enough, and so has your network. Your network is a disaster. ABC is a disaster. Here is the bill. Bobby, come on over here. Now you're talking about trillions and trillions. Thank you very much, everybody.
Mr. President, quick question about Turkey.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
All right. All right, all right, all right. So that was a long sit, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I know these things always take like about an hour, but like mentally I was not fully prepared for there was a lot of info too, but it's almost impossible to really easily summarize it. But that was entertaining though. Like the end here, just the fact that he kind of jabbed her at the end, like, this is disgrace, that made my whole hour worth it. But at the end, I'm like freezing over here, by the way. So that's a little bit of the issue also at hand. Now, something interesting just happened a few minutes ago. There's somebody who came in, and they're actually shorting Bitcoin with 40x leverage, just closed the position and walked away with 1.18 mil. It's kind of interesting to me how at the same time, while we're doing all this stuff, there are other people who are just making one trade, doing everything all at once, so to speak. So you just get, quote unquote, lucky. Now, for example, take a look at the positions right now. Another interesting fact I should claim here or showcase to you guys is that a part of the bot, you might look at this and think, it's at a big loss. The biggest part you gotta look at is how much it's cashing out during these dips and how much it's able to buy. The same for many of these. The unrealized profit is cool, but that fades over time. You do not know what this number is gonna be at tomorrow. All we care about is how much is it actually buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling, because this number could be minus 140,000, could be plus 140,000, doesn't matter. You could cash out if you want to right now, you could. But that is all like, whatever, right? It's not quote unquote guaranteed. Whereas the grid profits are basically what it's cashing out at the same time. That is a lot more important to me. But then again, over time, beautiful, beautiful things. Anyway, I might stream tonight the SEC hearing. A couple of you guys were saying that could be interesting, so maybe tonight we'll take a look at that. Yeah, we could definitely take a look at that. The SEC roundtable meeting at about 9 p.m. tonight. If there's a lot of you guys that are saying, yes, let's do it, let's see right now. Who's down for a nice little other stream? Because we've already done one, so maybe it's actually too much for a day. I've already been streaming here for what, 2 hours and 15 minutes? If you guys are down, we might be able to do that. But everybody, if you're right now watching this, make sure you press that like button. And more importantly, make sure you put that notification bell on so tonight we'll stream also the SEC roundtable meeting. I believe it is 9 p.m. my time. I have to go eat something now, though. So this is also quite important. But I think I'll get that done over the next, because now it's 7. So I have 2 more hours to eat and then get back to another live stream. So if you guys will stick around and say hi in about 2 hours, or not stick around, I guess do something else, we'll be back here and we'll do a stream about this, whatever I just said, the SEC roundtable. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it is 9 p.m. my time. Let me quickly double confirm. Actually, let's put this to the side. Let's quickly see SEC roundtable meeting. I'm positive though it is it's 9 p.m. Let me quickly find it. SEC. Let's see what they've posted on their own Twitter account. So they've posted 1 p.m. Eastern time, and I already looked it up, right? That 1 p.m. Eastern time in Dubai time is 9, so should be okay. 1 p.m. ET to Dubai time was 9? Yeah, it was 9 p.m. my time. Let me just, let me see if I'm actually in Dubai time. Oh yeah, it is really 9, okay. All right. So I will be back for that, hopefully. If I don't make it, they'll probably be a little bit late. So we might be a few minutes late, but I need to go eat something, and then we'll be back for this SEC stream. Again, if you're wondering what are we going to confirm or what are we going to talk about, this right here. Our 4th roundtable on crypto regulations today at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Chairman Paul Atkins will give the keynote address. A live stream will be available on the SEC's website. We'll be taking a look at that in 2 hours from now. So stick around. See you guys in 2 hours. Make sure you put that notification bell on, guys. If you're not subscribed yet, you will not get a notification. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the stream. It was a crazy time, but XRP right now ain't doing too much. We're actually cooling down a little bit, so it's okay for us to end it right here. And it's always awful when there's 1,000 people watching. I can almost never just press end stream, but right now I think it's wise to come back a little bit later. If something happens, something happens at the dinner, you might not see me again, but I think I'll be here back at 9 p.m. So maybe, hopefully see you guys then. All right, everybody. If you want to join those bots, if you want to see the updates on that, stick around every day. Just watch the videos, whatever. But yeah, that's about it. All right. Peace out, everybody. Oh, I'm not. I'm